Drake. Power 95, where music lives. The views expressed in the following program aren't necessarily those of Power 95. Ladies' Room comes to you compliments of Renwick and Thompson Limited at Beacon Insurance.
Always be sure you settle for more. Get up to 35% off Beacon's fully comprehensive vehicle insurance and still cover a whole lot more. Enjoy higher discounts and better coverage for any kind of vehicle, car, SUV, or pickup with free loss of use, windscreen cover, and special perils. To sign up, call us at 440-4447 or log on to beacon.co.tt and settle for more today.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they're prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
1 2 1 2.
Back up at it.
Okay. This is Power 95, where music lives.
I'm singing along, enjoying myself. Hold on, let me see something. Something still? Y'all hearing me now? What lady do you not hear? Look at this couple of wonderful plastic orders are on you, Mr. Ray. Listen, okay? I'm talking to myself. I was muted. You guys hearing the music? You good now? As a matter of fact, I wasn't even talking. I was actually singing. Let me just say something quick. Audio. Da-da-da. Test 1 2. Okay, is it better? Hold on. It's supposed to be a phone. You guys hearing me still? Good or now? Tell me. I'm getting about 50 million different y'all are all over. So I'm wondering, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me now? Sound like I'm on the water? It's not a good picture. Let's try this again. Are you guys hearing me now? Hello. Maybe that sound like I'm on the water. Um, everything is good on my end, not so good. Not hearing you good on YouTube. Take it off, take this off. Looks no, same thing. I need to reboot. No, need to reboot. Everything is how it's supposed to be. I checked my settings, audio. So it's good now. All right, we good now. That's it. Whatever I touch, leave it there. Oh my lord! And I was just singing away a minute ago, and here we are. Anyways, good to know you guys are hearing me. Let me just get some music in the background. I've got my guests already in the building, and we are ready to go. I want to have a conversation before I start about this. Okay, tell me listen to myself. Hearing the song in the background. What am I doing? What is- what is that we do? Are you guys hearing this? The music? Again? How about now? Remove that earphone. Y'all sure it's my F plugs? Muffled again? Okay, I think I got it now. Clear now? No, I didn't touch anything. Good? All right. All right. You know what? So let me not touch nothing over here. Let me just stay right here. Let me turn down the volume on my thing. I can make up my mind just first. No, today's not a good day for that. Anywho's, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's indeed a pleasure to have you back on this Tuesday, January 23rd. I've got a very special guest. Of course, last week, Tuesday, we featured Hazelin Regis, and it was an amazing conversation. And I did say to folks, if they know of anybody that I can speak to, any male, female, whoever, Grenadian out in the diaspora doing, good stuff. And we seem to have quite a number of them based on the response that I got. And I'm happy that, they agreed to come on the show and, talk about where they are, what they're doing as we continue to celebrate this beautiful milestone, 50 years and up, right? We had Oslin in the studio this morning. Not too sure how many of you heard her, but she was here, and boy, we still have a lot of things on the calendar, the independence calendar, to do, a lot to look forward to. And the fact that we're spreading it around, going to the different parishes, I think is a pretty good idea. So for the folks up in the north, there'll be your turn on the weekend, the finals of the Calypso competition, and we still have the up from here concert. We have the Governor General's gala. Then we have the church service. And then we get to wear our colors. Then we get to eat oil down for breakfast, lunch, dinner. So we have so much to look forward to, plus the other private events that's part of the celebration. So whatever little way you can contribute, do your part. Yesterday, I said it all. Don't wait. Don't sit and wonder what's happening, but take the initiative, call the NOC, find out how they can help in you beautifying your communities, but not just sit there and hope and wait that things are going to come through or you're going to see something happening in your community. You are the ones who live in the community, and you want it to happen, you're going to have to say something. All right. Selvon Ray, you always want excitement, but I have a post to make about the celebrations. I'm not sure if it's a hush hush thing that's going on, but the celebrations are a bit lackluster. It is not carnival, that much I can tell you. So if you're looking for action and you're looking to stray every Monday to Sunday, that's not what it is. All right, so behave. Anyways, I've got my guests here, so we're not gonna stick because you know how it is with time. Good morning to everybody on the live. Kenwin, listen, you just come in the room, all right? But you ain't hearing. Morning, Reginald. Morning, Linda. Morning, Shireen. Debbie Crooney, good morning. Thanks for the hookup. Shante, I guess usual. Thank you so much, Marianne. Lisa, good morning. Valerie, good morning. Kizzy, good morning. Shireen, everybody that's here, top of the morning to you. It is indeed a pleasure to have you guys back in the room. Laura Lisa, you are super amazing. From Sabrina's event on Friday, to your performance at the gospel concert, amazing. We've got amazing talent on this rock. So, without any further ado, let me say a special morning to my guest. Hold on, I'm gonna need this. I hope my earplugs is not the problem because I needed to speak to my guest. So if it's buffering or if it's echoing, let me know so I can remove it and try another one. So, Lois, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good.
Laura Lisa is in the audience screaming, "That's her best. That's my best friend." So the support is already here. So, anyways, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to, be part of the conversation this morning as we lead up to our independence celebration. Now we have a lot of, you know, we got a lot to keep up with. Then we have somebody, Cassie. That's my sister.
That is my sister.
So we got a lot of catching up to do concerning your journey, right?
Yes.
So Debbie Crony says, "Give my Lois a special good morning for me." Where all of them come out this morning? I got so many loves in the house, so many love in the house. So, for the benefit of those who may not know you, let's backtrack to where you're from to begin with on this rock. Where were you born and raised?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Grenada. I am originally from Pedmata, St. David's. That's where I grew up my whole life. And then after Hurricane Ivan, I moved down to St. Paul's, a bit of a change there. And, I grew up playing tennis. I went to the St. Louis Girls RC School and for primary school and then high school, the Anglican High School. Of course, one of the best schools on island.
Everybody says our school is the best.
I know, but we are the best.
Yeah, you guys have some serious history at the Anglican High School. That I can see. So of course you went through your primary and your secondary school education here. Grew up from Penmotor. Grew up in St. Paul's. What was a typical childhood like for you, and how did you discover this love of tennis out of everything?
A typical lifestyle for me, growing up as a kid, I was involved in any type of sports that you could think about, mostly in the track and field area. I felt like that's probably where I thrived the most in the beginning. And then, everyone knows Richie Hughes, I'm sure. But I got introduced to tennis at the St. Louis Girls RC School by Richie Hughes. He came into the school during our PE hour and he introduced the sport to 20 young ladies. And I was one of the only ones that continued the after school program.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And that's kind of where the love for the sport started. I played in my first tournament when I was 10 years old, mini tennis right there in Tantine. And I won it. And it just went from there. I still kind of tried to balance the athletics and the tennis portion. And then tennis just sort of took over when I got the opportunity to represent in Grenada in my first tournament at age 12. So that's kind of how it started.
Oh wow. Now, in terms of moving from there, let's jump to migrating. How did that happen? What was the reason behind you migrating? Tell us about that part of your journey.
Yeah, so back in 2006, I think that was like the peak of my junior tennis career. I was number 6 in the Caribbean and Central America at the time. And I was playing in a tournament in St. Lucia, and a coach, a traveling coach from the US, he came down with a few players and he saw me compete. I played against the number 1 seed in the tournament and I took her to 3 sets. And he made a call on my behalf. He called a coach here in the US and he was like, "Man, I have this young lady. She's such a fighter. And I just watched her play and I think you should give her a call." And that coach from Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he called me and, he pretty much offered me a tennis scholarship. Back then, I really didn't know anything about it. And after that, I got a few more offers, but I knew a young lady that was going to that school and I felt most comfortable going there. And I made the decision to go to Southern University on a tennis scholarship in 2009.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Hazelin in terms of the transition, because it's two different cultures. You're pretty young, you migrating at so early. What was that like for you coming from our rock to where you are? How was that transition for you? What was the challenges and stuff?
Yeah, I went to school in Louisiana. I'm actually right where Hazelin is. That's where I went to school. She went to LSU. I went to Southern. So it's about 15 minutes apart from each other. For me, it was a bit of a culture shock. I thought that was big city living of course, the people from Louisiana, that's in the South, they're like, this is not big city
small
living at
town.
all. Yeah. But for me, I thought it was big city living. It was obviously different. The food was different. The culture was different. Growing up on an island, you wake up and if you go outside and you see someone, you're like, good morning, how you doing? And, you're engaging with them. And it was just a little bit different here in the US. So I think it was definitely a transition going from Grenada to the US. That was my first time going to the US when I went off to scholarship. So it was definitely different.
What are some of the challenges you would say as a young athlete you encountered at that particular time?
I think obviously just kind of getting used to the culture, getting used to the people, kind of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And again, coming from an island where, things are so free, like you're coming from Grenada, you can walk the streets any hour. You can, it feels a little bit more safe to coming to a place where you have to almost be like on your P's and the Q's all the time, where, people are giving you these stories and, having to deal with situations of racism and that sort of things. So I think that for me was most of the challenge. And then also like getting adapted as an athlete and just understanding like what it takes to compete at a high level and the work ethic that you have to put in. It is a little bit different. And I think, again, that's because of culture. You're a little bit more relaxed in Grenada versus like coming to the US where everything is like fast paced and on the go.
And one of during my conversation, of course, with Hazelin, one of the things that we spoke about was discipline and how that can, play a major role in your life and of course in the things that you do. How important was that for you? Because it's something you have to apply to a lot of areas in your life, but from an athlete perspective, a Lois perspective, how much of a role did that play in your development?
Discipline is the number one thing. Like you have to have discipline. You have to know as an athlete, you're here to do a job. Being offered a tennis scholarship or being offered any sort of scholarship, it's almost like you're getting paid to do a job. So, people might not know the numbers, but it takes probably, well, where I work right now, it's $60,000 US to go to school for 1 year. So if you're being afforded a tennis scholarship or an athletic scholarship or whatever type of scholarship, that is your job. You're getting paid to do that. So it takes discipline. It takes, time and effort. It takes work ethic. It's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, I'm just going to sit on this scholarship and just, give what I have. You have to go above and beyond to be successful.
What was your support structure like? Because Hastings said that played a major role in your keeping her grounded and keeping her focused. What was your support structure like? Family, friends? How did it work for you?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, obviously my family all still live in Grenada and, they've had my back from ever since I left, mom, dad, brother, sister, every single one, extended family, friends, everyone has been in support of my journey here as a collegiate athlete, as well as now a coach. And I've always had the support. Obviously, it's from afar, but at the same time, it's always been there, and it is huge having that type of support behind you.
All right, now let's jump into the meat of the matter of you being a coach. This young lady from Grenada went on a scholarship, right?
Yeah.
Now you're now a coach.
Yep.
I really want to know about this entire journey and how did you get to that level, and what exactly do you do?
Yeah. So, man, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. So I played 3 years of collegiate tennis, and I had the opportunity to win a championship all three years that I competed, together with my team. And after I was done with college athletics, I was like, man, I can't believe like this is going to be the end of my career, So what can I do? What can I do to continue staying in this field? Obviously, the educational piece is a huge piece. Like I got my bachelor's degree in business administration, and then I went on to do my master's degree, where my coaching journey started. So I started as a graduate assistant at the same school that I went to, and I coached there for 2 years. Was able to get 2 more championships underneath my belt as a graduate assistant, alongside my head coach. And when I was done with college, like with the master's program, I was like, what's next? I really want to stay in college athletics, not just coach in a tennis club or like coach on the side. I really want that competitive aspect of collegiate tennis. So, my coach, he made some calls on my behalf, and there was a position that was open in Jackson, Mississippi, and that's where I started as a head coach. And I was in the South, in Mississippi, yes. And that's where I started as a head coach. And I was only 25 years old. And that's considered really young to be a head coach at a Division I.
What assistant, but head?
Yes, head coach. Yes. So, and not just that, I was
How did that happen?
So again, my coach just sort of like making that call on my behalf. And, obviously, like I displayed, maturity, and I was really into it. And, I already had that 2 years of graduate assistantship underneath my belt. So that sort of gave me a little bit of the experience to be able to get that position. But I got that position, and I coached both the men and the women program. So it was definitely a challenge in my first year as a head coach, only being 25, when a lot of the players were 21, 22. So we were very similar in age, and having to find that balance where, you're the coach, but they're also respecting you as a young person that recently played, college sports as well. So that's where I think my journey started as a head coach.
So in terms of, like you said, they're close to your age group. It's almost like your peers, 21, 25, not much in terms of the age difference. Did you find that challenging, or did you have any problems working with them, considering, the age group, and they're probably thinking, oh, she's almost our age. So how did that work for you?
I thought it went well. For me, respect is earned. So I gave them respect, and they gave me respect. I never had a player challenge me when it came to that. They were really hungry at the time, because they kept getting really close to winning championships and could never really get it, especially on the men's side. So I didn't have a problem with that. It was more of like getting them to believe that they can do it. And if they put in the hard work, anything could happen. And I had the opportunity of winning my first championship in my first year on the men's side. And that was their first championship in 18 years. So it was a very, very cool experience, not just for me, but for the student athletes as well, especially the men having a female coach, which was really cool.
Now, when reading through your profile, you mentioned that you're now living your dream as a head coach at a Power 5 university. What is a Power 5 university? What does that mean?
So a Power 5 university, Power 5 means when it comes to conferences, so the top 5 conferences in the country. So my dream was, okay, I want to become a head coach. And of course, I started at a smaller scale, having to manage 2 programs at a smaller level. So there's low level, mid-major, and there's Power 5. So Power 5 is the 5 top conferences in the country. And it's kind of based on football, American football, that determines what schools go into that Power 5 conference. It's all based off of money, school size. Currently, the institution that I'm at, we have around 53,000 students. So it's a really, really big university. And this was my goal. And everything that I did was centered around getting to this level. And then I got the opportunity to do that this past June. So I sort of just worked my way up the ladder. I definitely took the long route. I went from graduate assistant to head coach, then to volunteer assistant at a Power 5, where I sort of like sacrificed I sacrificed when it came to title at the time and money, but it was all, to get the experience at that level so then I can get more looks to get to where I'm at right now.
Now, I want to come back home for a little bit. You mentioned that you've worked your way toward your goal, and we have a lot. We have basically a youthful population, and there are so many young people, athletes leaving school, and for those who don't get the opportunity to get scholarships or what have you. Um, in terms of working toward your goal, what advice would you give an athlete who is, keen about it, is eat, drink, sleep, breathe, sport, and wanting to do well, wanting to excel, but can't seem to find that way? Um, how do you what would you say to them?
I always say that, what you put in is what you get out. So I'm huge on, praying and manifesting things. And like I said, every time I spoke something, I swear, every time I spoke something out of my mouth, it came to pass. So definitely hard work, don't forget the academics. The academics is a huge part. You can be the most talented athlete, but if you don't have the academics, you wouldn't get that opportunity. And, especially for the male athletes, female athletes are more likely to get full scholarships somewhere. Male athletes more than likely would have to pay something. So definitely, if you can get the opportunity to get an athletic and an academic scholarship because your grades are good and you can combine the two, that's your best case scenario. So it's always good to make sure that you're studying hard, you're putting in the work in the classroom and on the field, on the court. But believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to give 100 and surround yourself with like-minded people like you, that has sort of the same vision. Ask questions. There's a lot of coaches besides myself over here in the US. Come to me, ask me. I know a lot of coaches. I know I've been to a lot of different schools. So it might not be in tennis, but I can refer you to the track coach somewhere else, or the volleyball coach somewhere else, or the soccer coach somewhere else. Use the connections to help you to get to where you want to go.
I'm happy that you emphasize on the education aspect of it, because you'll find that a lot of athletes, they're more interested in whether it's on the court, whether it's on the field, whether it's on a track, whatever it is. They seem to put all of their time, their efforts into that part of it, and sometimes neglect the academic part of it, the education part of it. And then when it's time to seek scholarships, what have you, that seems to be a major stumbling block for them, because they don't understand the two merges and just mesh well together. So more emphasis have to be placed. But how do you balance the two? That's the question I want to ask. It's how do you balance the two, make sure that you give them both the time that it needs to be successful?
Yeah, I think you're a student first. That's why it's called student athlete and not athlete student, right? So almost more oftentimes than none, the academics have to play a bigger role, because you'll come to the US, and if you're not eligible academically, you're not allowed to compete athletically. So you have to make sure that you're maintaining your grades. There's a certain threshold that you need to meet in order to be able to compete on the athletic side of things, right? So the balance is, it's not easy. If you're a normal student, great. That you're not doing any athletics or anything like that, great. But that's the discipline, right? And that's the time management. There's also people that's in place to help you to be able to manage your time properly. I remember when I came to college, I struggled my first semester. Just being 100%, I struggled my first semester because I graduated from Anakin High School in 2006, and I didn't come to college until 2009. So there was a 3-year gap. I didn't go to TAMCC. So it was a bit of a struggle coming to the US and now having to program my brain again of how to study. Now I'm taking like 5 subjects that I didn't take before, learning the American system and how they teach and how they want you to take exams. So I struggled in the beginning. And then once I got used to it and I understood what I needed to do, you know, you have to study, even though you're tired, right? You have to study. You have to go to sleep, take a couple hours, and then wake up and hit the books.
Books.
Yeah, and that's the discipline and that's the time management. If you want to be successful, you have to do these things. So the day in the life of a student athlete is not easy. You wake up in the morning, like currently my student athletes, they wake up, they go to the gym at 6:30, and then they work out for an hour, then they go to classes, then they come to practice for 2.5, 3 hours. And then some of them go to classes after practice again, or they may not. And if they don't, they're studying. You know, even when they're tired, they've gone through the whole day, but they have to put in the work in order to be successful.
Now let's talk about your season now. What's ahead for you? What's happening now as a coach, and what is your daily routine like?
Yeah, so this is my first season here at the University of Minnesota, and it's been an adjustment. I think that every stop that I made leading up to being at this position has prepared me. I don't know how people do it without getting the experience along the way. It's been a challenge. It's tough. It takes a lot of work. I'm constantly working like all day, all night. It's almost like I get obsessed with it after a while. I'm like, you know, scouting, looking at other schools that we're going to compete at, looking at their players. You know, obviously I'm still recruiting. I'm bringing in new student athletes. You know, I'm getting used to the current student athletes that I have. And the biggest part for me right now is that I'm building a culture of togetherness, a culture of family, a culture of, you know, work ethic and discipline. And, you know, all of that plays a big role in, I think, what's going to help us to be successful. It may not be right now at this very moment because we're in the building stage of our journey, but it's going to pay off here in the long run. Having to travel like last fall, school started in September, and from September to December, I swear I was on a plane. Every other week, I went to Europe for like 7 days of like 3 countries in 7 days: Croatia, Turkey, Germany. Not sleeping, working with a 12-hour time difference, and you know, your body being jet lagged and in different places. But I was able to sign one of the girls that I went to go look at. So it's good. It's really good, and I'm just enjoying the journey.
Now, all that you've just said in terms of, you know, the things you have to do on a daily basis, how do you balance your relationship, your home life, and, you know, your work life with all that you've got going on? How challenging is that for you?
Yeah, it's always a journey, and that part is always challenging. You know, it's just making sure, like right now I'm currently alone, so you know, my husband, he's not here at the moment, so we live in separate places, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier to just sort of like be able to go to work and come home. And I have a puppy, he's like laying right next to my foot right now. He doesn't leave my side, so that part of it has been okay.
Now, we're almost getting time to wrap up, but let me see. I have a question here from someone. Yeah, someone says, "Okay, where do you see yourself in the next 3 years?"
You know, well, right now I'm on a 3-year contract, so for right now I'm staying put. I really do enjoy being at the University of Minnesota, but not just that. I think that I do need to sit still for a little bit and get the experience at this level, because I think even at the Power 5 level, there's levels within it, right? So I want to be able to sort of just get an understanding of what it takes to work with these high level athletes. You know, a lot of these athletes that we're working with, they go on to be professional, right? So it's like, for me, even in this role, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm constantly just, you know, want to be better for them so that they could continue to grow as athletes. So for right now, I'll be staying put for at least those 3 years. And then, you know, if it so happens that I get to move up within the Power 5 level, that's kind of where my mindset would be to go.
Now, in terms of our celebration, of course, we're all on the road to 50. We've been talking a lot about it. It's almost every day. So this like we're eating, breathing, living. This 50th anniversary of independence. Um, your final thoughts on home, like we say, this is home. In terms of with so many young athletes. You have tennis players because I usually pass Tantine and see some of them on the court. What sort of support do you think you can give to them?
You know,
Okay, stick a pin. Let me just ask you this question here from cell phone as well. Tennis has been on the decline in Grenada. I think that's what I just asked. Tennis has been on the decline in Grenada in both the male and female categories, especially since the head coach in the ministry retired and the position is now vacant. How do you propose that we get tennis to a place it once was on the island, which has produced so many amazing athletes?
yeah, that's a good question. I've been trying to do that for for a while. Tennis in Grenada, man, it breaks my heart because every time I come home and I just see like what Sevon said, the decline in just the amount of athletes that's out there. I remember when I grew up playing tennis, we lived on the tennis court. My mom, she didn't on Saturdays, she couldn't find us all day. We were on the tennis court, right? And it is huge. Richie Hughes played a huge part in why the sport was the way it was. He was just super, super dedicated. And I think that we do need to find someone that's going to be dedicated to putting in the work and sort of just building the programs back. I have always, been in support of in whatever ways that I can, because at the end of the day, if there's athletes that's going to come out of there to even come to me, I would love to have that, right? I've made proposals and, I just sort of wish that we would, be able to get the support that we need to bring the sports back. I'm 100% willing to lend any sort of help that I can to bring the program back.
Okay. So, Salvan, that is the response, all right? Because we know how it is sometimes trying to make things work on the rock. So,
Yep.
I really, really hope so. And it's not just a chill spot for the students from Tennessee,
From Tennessee.
but will be actually be utilized. And it would be nice if if we could have some more of you here, so folks will understand and see that hey, there is a career in this, there is a future in this. You can do well doing this.
I've
So
always
motivation is needed.
Yeah, I've always, every time I came back, Richie always, got me to speak with the younger generation of athletes and just sort of tell them my pathway. And I'm always open to do that whenever possible, So I definitely feel like just in the Caribbean as a whole, we could do better with supporting, especially a sport like tennis is it's really an underrated sport.
Yeah.
But it's something that
a foreign sport. It's not football. It's not cricket.
Yeah, but it's a sport that you can play forever, for a lifetime. I mean, I've had 90-year-old clients. Like, it's something that you can always do for a lifetime versus a lot of the other sports. So you can go far in it for sure.
Because apart from a career, it's also recreation. You also get a good exercise from it. Salvan is somebody who I always see on the court. He loves his tennis.
We play together all the time.
So, I really hope that as we move forward, as we talk about future, we'll have some more athletes, more students involved, whether it's from a school level, but put some more life, inject some more life into it, and not just have it like a dying sport, because like you said, there's so much you can get out of it, so much you can do with it. So we hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can see some more life where tennis is concerned here. Well, we get ready to wrap up. Any final words before we go? Anybody have any final questions before we go? If not, Lois, you can give us your final words and we're good to go for today.
Yeah, no, I just want to, encourage everyone to just keep supporting all of the athletes across the island, and in whatever ways that you can, whether it's financial, whether it's, just having a conversation with them, whether it's making a call on their behalf. I've had people make calls on my behalf, and I will make a call on your behalf. Find me on Facebook, follow me, and I'll help in whatever ways that I can. It does not necessarily have to be tennis. And I'm just so excited about the 50th anniversary. I wish I could be there. I'm so jealous And thanks for the support from all my family, all my friends. It's been awesome. And yeah, thanks for supporting my journey.
Well, you're getting a lot of love in the audience, so thank you so very much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show this morning. And happy to have you as a proud sister, proud Grenadian sister. Continue to shine, continue to be a beacon of hope and inspiration for so many young people. And like you said, you won't be home for the 50th, but wherever you are, make sure you have some oil down or you have some of our colors
For
sporting on the
sure.
tape.
For sure. And I'm always home. I'm always home. I always come home for Christmas. As soon as I can get a flight, I'm always home. And like I saw Laura Lisa put something in the chat. I always have time for them. When I come home, life of the party, let's go. We're doing things.
So thank you for being an amazing, person. Thank you so much for flying the Grenadian flag where you are, and we really, really, really appreciate you for that. And just continue to be the best you can be. Go out there and win and have yourself a great, 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 great day. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Alrighty, so if you just joined us, we've been speaking with Lois Arterberry, and of course, she is tennis coach out there in the U.S., proud Grenadian sister. As we continue to on our road to our independence, just highlighting folks who are out there making a difference and doing well. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And continue to shine your light. Everybody in the room, thank you so much for staying here. I'm happy to see you guys staying here for the serious side of the ladies' room, because it's not only about relationships and what, but I really appreciate you guys sticking around for these conversations. It really really means a lot. Donna Springle and the folks out in the UK, it's afternoon now, so top of the afternoon to you out there. It's a pleasure having you on as usual. Good morning again. Good morning again, Melvin Brown. Mel, thank you so much, bro, for always being here. Debbie, thank you. Everybody else? Yes, Sheena, you were doing something else. If you had followed it and be serious about it like Lois, you'd be a head coach somewhere too, but you were coaching other things. You understand? Good morning again, guys. Jackie, you're late. Have a great day, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for another one. Thank you to our friends at Western Union and Beacon Insurance for making the show possible. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Ladies' Room comes to you compliments of Renwick and Thompson Limited and Beacon Insurance.
Always be sure you settle for more. Get up